truth is, this is episode 3, No Patriarchy. You know, I've seen the videos from Better Bachelor, Taylor the Fiend, Manosphere. You know, there's a lot of guys out here trying to just tell the truth, and I see that Shoe on Head did a video recently, and she was being attacked. I know she's on the left. This isn't really about that. Come here, calm down, squirrel. The thing is, you know, you all talk about patriarchy and all this all the time, and you talk about privilege. Let me tell you something about privilege, okay? I was born, you know, in a okay family. We were okay at first, and, you know, my parents got divorced in 1973. My mother and father split up. We went back and forth between my parents, and I lived, actually, both of my parents went through a lot of hard times, and we lived with my mother. And you know, there was times when I lived right next to the projects, and I was actually poorer than the kids in the projects. So when you talk about patriarchy and privilege and all these other things, that they're not compete. It's not okay, because what you're saying is really a lie. It's a lie. Okay, if there was a patriarchy, you know, you look back through history and you start like the emperors, you know, and the Julius Caesar and these empires where there was a king, there was a patriarchy. I guess you could call it that. I don't know. But if we were going to go down that road, I have two ancestors who I'm actually a descendant of the Tudors in England, and more closely Anne Boleyn and Bloody Mary. I know you've probably heard of her. So there's two there, and then actually they claim to be descendant of Cleopatra. So there's a woman back there too who was also an Egyptian, has been found in my DNA. So you know, you want to sit and talk about all these things that men are not. We're just human, just like you. We just go through life, you know. I spent 20 years married to my wife, and she passed away suddenly, you know. And why? It's another story. I'm not going to get into that in this video. But if she would have listened to me, I don't think that I would be here today, you know, by myself. And you want to sit and talk about, oh, poor men are lonely. It's not like that. Men can handle being alone. See, that's the problem. Do we want to? Probably be better not to be. You know, what men really long is to have the company of a decent woman with common sense. And that's the thing. When you have a decent woman who you can sit and have a conversation with, how about just a normal conversation? You know, we can talk about the weather. We can do anything together. You know, it's just, why are we going to the beach? You know, why are we harping on little things that don't matter? You know, and it's the thing. And you know, some of the craziest things I've heard in the last 5 years in my life. And I would have just never thought the world would went from ground zero to freaking 99,000 in 5-6 years. You know, people have gone insane, literally insane. And, you know, we're all human here. You can do whatever you want. You know, I'm struggling right now. I'm disabled, you know, so I have 2 disabilities. I lost my wife right in the middle of it, and you know what caused me to be in the position I'm in? Because my wife listened to another woman, okay? And then it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into that, but me and my wife got along great. In 20 years, we had maybe 10 fights, if that, you know? Even with these influences on her, which made her make bad choices, me and my wife got along to the end, you know, and I was with her when she passed away in the hospital. You don't know what you're talking about. Men are just here living just like you. We are not going out here trying to dog women. We are out here working. We come out of the time we were born till we walk into our grave. We work our whole life. And then sometimes things happen, you know, things happen. When are women going to wake up and understand it ain't about 6-foot Jake and 6-figure bank accounts? And, you know what I'm saying? It's not about him. He doesn't give a shit about you. The men who do care about you, excuse my French. but it's the truth. You know, and you act like we're boring. We're boring. Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm just saying that for other men, because for me, you see, when I was in my teens and 20s, I was a little, I wouldn't say I was a player, but I probably went through a few women, until I met my wife. Then I slowed down, I lived through the new wave era, I was in the 80s, I was in the dance clubs. So I went, and it was never me going out and making promises to a girl and saying, hey, we're gonna have this long thing, and then me just dumping her or ghosting her or whatever y'all call it now. It never happened like that. Okay. I've probably been ghosted less than anybody you probably ever met. Now, I think I've had a couple, and I've done a couple that way. A few women are, like you are now, but not quite as bad. I mean, now I'm not trying to ridicule you. It's the thing. I think there's a big misunderstanding here about how men are, and that's the thing. We're not different from you in that way. And all this stuff, about men being a patriarchy and trying to put women down or enslave women. And I'm going to tell you one more thing about that. And I keep hearing this, and I'm talking about these passport men and stuff that going overseas. And y'all said, well, they're going up there looking for uneducated women. Well, that's not really true, because the fact of the matter is that the U.S. has fallen way behind in education. As a matter of fact, we're not even fifth. I think we're 7th, 10th, something. The top 5 countries in the world in education right now are where the men are going and finding their women. So they're finding women that are more educated than you. And Asia, I think it's the Philippines, China, somewhere, Singapore. I don't know. There's all in Asia, So, to sit and make these claims that you make, I'm sorry. And again, I don't hold nothing against the American women, but I'm going to tell you something, okay? Here's where men are, okay? A man has his choice to not date you, because otherwise, if he does, he dates you, he gets you pregnant, okay? Then he can say, oh, I don't want the kid. You're saying too bad. If a man says, I do want the kid, you say, too bad, I'm going to have an abortion. See, so a man has absolutely no choice, and that's the way. Ever since LBJ passed the Great Society programs, I'm sorry, but men absolutely get crapped on. Okay, that's just the way it is. Men are absolutely down at the bottom. We're down here. We can't say, okay, well, give me, you ain't getting nothing. We're going to take half of what you have, what you worked your whole life for, too, while we're at it. So where do men have a bonus at? Where do we get anything out of the deal? We can't decide anything. We can't say you're going to have this kid. We can't say you're not going to have the kid. We can't say, I don't want you taking half my stuff. Why do you think men are leaving the American women? Why do you think the MGTOW movement started? Okay? I'm not saying this for myself, because I don't care at this point. I'm 57, or I will be 57, and I'm not worried about dating anyone else. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to get my life together and write my book so I can survive. And if I happen to meet a girl who I can talk to sometimes without insanity being involved, I think I'll do that, and then I can live my life. And, maybe we can say, hey, we're walking down the same path. Let's just be friends, and walk down the same path together. We don't have to have all this other stuff, because there's too much a man has to lose now. A man has to work his whole life. And you could just walk right in. Oh, I'm pregnant. I'll take it all. And then you got these. I've seen some doozies on between Taylor the Fiend, Manosphere, and all them dudes. And shout out to all of y'all. I'm gonna tell you something. I've been through it all. Okay, sitting there watching my wife die was the worst thing in my life. And I'm gonna tell you, you can sit and point your finger at men. Men care too, but we don't care when you're trying to hurt us and ridicule us for being who we are. We can't help who we were born as. We can't help whether we're white, black, yellow, brown. We didn't choose to be who we are. We were born that way. But, however, what we do from the time we're born till the time we die, that is our choice. And when they say people are all born equal and die equal, that's true. But it's what you do in between. It's what you do in between those two times that sets you apart from other people. And if you can't understand that or recognize it, and then you're just doing the worst things, then that's on you. You have to answer for that. It's your life. You do what you want. But you don't have to drag men down with you because you're going down, and that's your choice. Because you're deciding, oh, you're going to be this way, or you're not a real man. You can't say that. You can't do that. I'm sorry. You don't decide what we are. We don't decide what you are. We don't tell you, hey, don't put on your makeup. Oh, here, how about this one? Let me see your phone and see what you've been saying to your friends. How about that one? You would say, oh, that's being a misogynist or bigoted or whatever you want to make up today, whatever you want to say. But had I done that, I would have known something I didn't know when me and my wife were married. I would have known somebody was in her ear saying things that they should have never said. And to be honest with you, I've cut these people out of my life permanently, and I'll keep them there because, you know what? What you did, they cost me time with my wife that I'll never be able to get back. My wife is dead, you know. And I'll never, so you know what? Even if I did forgive them eventually, I'll never have anything to do with them again. Because you can't come into someone else's life and tell them how to live. This is the problem with all you girls on TikTok telling this girl, oh, well, don't do that. You tell that guy, you're worth more. You're a princess. You're a queen. You deserve everything. Everybody in life deserves a life. That's what you deserve. When you get what you get, it's what you work for. You don't have no right to go take what's just because LBJ signed the bill doesn't mean it's right. And that's the problem with this country. They need to fix that. Because a man should have just as much say in things as a woman. And the problem is they don't anymore. Okay, and this is a 13-minute rant, and I didn't mean to go that long. But I just wanted to say that men are just as valuable as you. Nobody, I'm going to settle. That's another thing. You put on the makeup and then you look really good. But when you take it off, you're just another medium, medium. That's 99%. I'm not kidding. 99% of you aren't half as good as looking as you think you are until you put on that makeup. Then you look really good. You put on those tight clothes and all that. Well, I'll be honest, and I'm not going to be a joke about it. To me, camera. When you put on all that clothes, you don't need to dress sexy. I like women to look elegant. I've seen girls wearing the outfits. They ride the horses on. With the little. Girls look nice in that. You just look in a nice long dress. You don't have to be in a bikini to look good to a guy. And that's another thing. I see all these girls always showing skin on the internet. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You know what? I'm going to tell you one more thing before I go. A friend of mine said this, and God rest his soul, he passed away this year too. He killed himself over a woman. Yeah. My best friend. He used to tell me, beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes clean to the bone, right? Well, see, I thought I knew what that meant because it's not really what you think. If you think of it superficially, you're thinking I'm talking about what a girl looks like on the outside. That's not what it means. It's talking about what you are inside, and if you're not this beautiful, good person inside, it doesn't matter what the outside looks like. You're going to be ugly on the outside no matter how decorated your exterior looks. If you're ugly inside, you're going to be ugly outside, and it shines through. Because I've seen women that would actually be pretty, and just the attitude just made them repulsive to me. And there's many women like that now, and I think they're pretty, but then the attitude, then you go like, and it makes you ugly. It does. I'm sorry. That's just the truth of it. They can like this, not like it. I'm just trying to tell the truth. I'm just trying to live my life, but I'm tired of hearing all these lies. It's rhetoric, okay? Stop giving other women advice unless you absolutely know what you're talking about. Some of these women out here know a little bit. like I said, Manosphere, all them, they're just trying to get to the truth. And if you listen to what they say, they're not dogging women. They're just telling the truth. The truth is, that's what my channel is. Truth is, So I just started this channel. Actually, I started it several years ago, and then I just dropped it. I hadn't after my wife died. I didn't have it in me to do it. But you just need to wake up. I mean, everybody on this planet has value, good or bad. There's good and bad in every race, every creed, every color, man. Y'all got to get over this stuff, man. Take it easy.
Use this opportunity to announce my next episode 4. And I wanted to segue into some things about the American education system in this video, but I'm going to save that for another one. Really, it's not what it used to be, and I think it's fallen behind. It's lagged behind in the world, where as to America is failing students now, and that's all too obvious by what you see coming out of the colleges and universities these days. And it's not just the grade schools, K through 12. So take care.